Hey there, Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome and thanks for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to show you a basic blues riff, and this is definitely more towards the beginners because what I really want to talk about is not this riff itself. It's not hard. You may already know it. I'm going to show you how to play it just in case, but that's not really what this is about. What I really want to discuss with you has to do with the right hand approach to this. And so what I see a lot is, particularly with beginners, and I'm going to turn off the overdrive because I know a lot of times you probably play with a very clean tone. So now I've got a very clean tone. But like I said, what I hear a lot is a very timid sound. Something like that. And it may even be hard to hear that because that happens, you know, like it's so, you're so concentrated on not touching anything other than the note that you're trying to play. And what I want to try to get you out of the habit of is thinking that you can't be all over this guitar. Most beginners approach from a place of only touching exactly what they need to touch and letting everything else be, I'll say, untethered or untouched. And in reality, what we want to do is we want to start with all of your fingers on all of the strings. Okay, I don't want any sound to come out. And that's kind of important. And it's not as big of a deal with a clean tone, but when we do add a little bit of overdrive, all these other notes will have a tendency to ring out even more. Okay, so we don't want that. So what I'm going to do, again, I'll keep that off. What I want to get you in the habit of is with your pick. Okay, when you play a down strum, I want you to get used to resting the pick on the next string below it. Okay, so don't just barely get across the string. I want you to just rest it. Really push it through and rest it on that next string. Okay, so in this case, I'm starting with the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So my pick is going to rest on the 5th string. And you can see that when I do that, it's always going the same distance. This is going to help with getting used to not hitting the wrong string. Okay, so I'm going to get used to that distance. And you'll notice my other fingers are just laying here on my guitar, not doing anything. But what I also want you to notice is that my first finger is touching every single other string. I could relax my fingers. You can hear that the only one that makes sound is the one I want. Okay? So when I come back up, so when I go down, I'm going to rest on the next string. When I come back up, obviously I can't do that. But the reason that I can't do that is sort of twofold, and one of them is going to be hard for you to see. But when I go across and I rest on that next string, when I come back up, I'm actually going to come out away from the guitar just a little bit. Because the next note, so I have 1 and and then I'm going to go to the 5th fret on the 5th string with my 3rd finger. Now notice that my 1st finger isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to stay there. And my 3rd finger, it was kind of already in this general area. I'm just going to push. And again, when I go down, I'm going to rest my pick on that next string. And when I come up, I'm going to come out a little bit so that I can get to another string if I have to. So I have my 3rd fret on the 6th string, 5th fret on the 5th string. Now I'm going to move my 1st finger again to the 4th string, 3rd fret. And again, notice these guys. They're just laying there. They're not hurting anything, but they are beating those other strings out for me. And after that, I'm going to go to the 5th fret on the 5th string. And again, when I play it, I'm not lifting those up. They're just sitting there quite comfortably. I mean, they just flop around. I can move them very easily. There's no tension. There's no pressure there. And a lack of tension is an important part, right? You want to have tension on the one finger that's working, but you want to have all the other fingers as relaxed as they can be. So when I start to pick the pace up, so I have the 3rd fret on the 6th string, 5th fret on the 5th string, 3rd fret on the 4th string, 5th fret on the 4th string. Now I'm going to count that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you notice every time I go across 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and my pick goes down, rests on the string. When it comes back, it comes out just a little bit. It's about the same distance, but it won't hit the string because I came out away from the strings just a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you could change this. We could go to that if we were doing a blues in G, right? That riff would go very well. We'd go up to the C chord and it would be the exact same riff, just starting with the 3rd fret on the 5th string. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now you might say to yourself, boy, that looks an awful lot like the tore down riff you showed me in another video. And you're right, it's basically the tore down idea. Kind of goes down mostly. This goes up mostly. It's basically the reverse of the tore down riff. I get that. But the key and the most important part of this is to get a little bit more aggressive with the pick across the string. And that will give you a little bit more, gives you a little bit more sound. When I turn on some overdrive, instead of where you can barely hear it. Now there is at times something to be said for playing very quietly. I understand there's a time and a place for that. But most of the time when we play blues, we want to have things speak. We want to have the guitar sing. We want to have the notes come out. And getting used to that distance between one string and the next works very well. Now, I will not lie to you. If I do something like that, I'm not doing this. Okay? I don't want to tell you that you're always going to do this for all of your life. It doesn't work that way. But it makes a very, very good way when you're a beginner or an early intermediate and you're sort of making that transition to alternate picking, it gets you used to the distances. Okay, so first of all, you're not pecking with your pick, right? You're not coming out. And I'm super exaggerating here. But we don't want that. We want down and back across. No up and down. We don't want this up and down motion, at least as little of it as possible. We need a little bit, when we come back up, we need a little bit of up because we got to clear the string behind us. And we might have to, if we go from, say, the 4th string to the 5th string, right, I have to clear that 5th string to be able to get to it. I'm sure you can imagine that that's something that's going to have to happen. Physics is what makes that work. But by resting that pick on that next string, you're going to get used to that distance and it's going to get more and more and more comfortable. And then if you do at some point decide to pick up the speed and do more of the fast alternate picking type of stuff, it's going to be a whole lot easier for you to learn how to do that. Okay, so anyway, it's like I said, it's an easy riff. It's a good one to learn. It's definitely one that you should know. It's an easy one. But the important thing is how you practice it. And if you do, say, the tore down riff, if you have my Blues Guitar Unleashed course, if you're like working on lesson 6 where you're starting to get into these kinds of riffs, and you find that you're struggling with the picking on it, that you're missing, or it's quiet and it doesn't have that sound that you think it should have, this is an excellent way to maybe overcome that particular obstacle, right? So, as always, if you have guitar playing friends that you think would dig this video, I hope you will share it with them. I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.